Have to start the video too? Do I have to start the video as well? Gotcha. Okie doke. Yeah. Let's look at the ceiling instead. All right, good morning all. We're only one we're missing is Mike that we think is going to join us. Mike Screbutanis, are you on?
I'm here.
Nope. Oh, there he is. All right. Yay. All right. All present and accounted for, that we're going to be present and to be accounted. Yes, but we knew that. Okay. Good morning and thank you for joining us. Let's begin this morning with our governance committee. And our major topic was to be employee time and attendance manual. If you recall, we've talked about this throughout the year and thought we perhaps could take a vote today, but it's gotten a little more than we thought it was going to be because our council has done an excellent job in reviewing. And I really didn't think it was a good thing to look at a redlined document that was multiple pages and say you're ready to vote on it. So we're going to put that off until our January meeting. But Bob, if you want to just go through very briefly the bulleted memo that you provided.
Sure. Yeah, I did unmute. Yep. Okay, under tab 2 is should be a memo that contains bullet points. Oh, it's actually under, yeah, tab 2. Bullet points. Oh, tab 1, okay. Bullet points of the substantive changes to the, or proposed changes to the employee time and attendance manual. And as the chair mentioned, a red line of the actual manual itself will be circulated after the meeting, and it is quite a lot of redlining. So if you're looking at the exact changes, there's quite a bit to see. But the substantive points were changes to the way vacation and sick leave accrues and personal leave. And then a lot of the red line is due to updates to required labor policies, such as New York State Sick Leave Act, which was recently enacted, changes to the Family Medical Leave Act, and other labor law requirements. So and that was the one version that was circulated was the changes that I made to it regarding the sick leave, and I made some updates just to clean up and streamline the policy. And then I actually had my labor law attorney partner take a look at it, and then he's the one that actually updated all the labor law requirements. So this next version that you see has a lot of redlining due to that. And that, again, it's just legal requirements that required to be updated. But regarding the paid vacation, the major differences are vacation days will be accrued on a monthly basis for each full month worked, rather than currently all vacation time was designated on January 1 of each year. And currently there's 10 days of vacation days, and now it will be on a scale based upon length of service. And from start of employment to the 5th anniversary date, 10 days will accrue per year. And then from the 5th anniversary date to the 10th, 15 days. From the 10th to the 15th, it'd be 20 days, 15th to 20th, 25 days, and over 25 years will be 30 days. Also, the amount of unused vacation days may be carried over to the next calendar year. However, it will be limited to the maximum amount of days that you can accrue in a year, and that's based upon length of service. So, and currently a maximum of 15 days is allowed to be carried over to the following year. And then there is also a provision for 10 days to be allowed to be cashed out upon approval of the chair. The proposed policy will have no cash out, so no payment in lieu of unused vacation days. Another change made, or proposed change made, is that when unused vacation days accumulate and they exceed the maximum allowable time that may be carried over to the following year, additional accruals for that year will be suspended until the employee uses time that drops the amount of unused vacation days below the maximum, and then the monthly accruals will start up again. And then upon separation of service, any sort of unused vacation days will be forfeited. Currently, 30 days of unused vacation days may be cashed out upon retirement, resignation, layoff, or death. So any separation that's not a result of termination for cause. And also vacation days can be taken in a half-day or full-day increment. Sick leave is 40 hours, which is 5 days, and that's the same as the current policy, and that still be credited on January 1. Unused sick leave may be carried over to the following calendar year. There's no limit. That's actually a change that was made due to the New York State Sick Leave Act. So unlimited amount of sick leave may be carried over to the following year. Currently, sick leave in excess of 1,500 hours is forfeited. A maximum of 160 hours, which is 20 days of sick leave, may be used in any given calendar year. All unused sick leave is forfeited upon separation, and sick leave may be taken in quarter-hour increments. The proposed policy is not providing for personal days. Currently, 5 personal days is credited per year with no carryover. But under the proposed policy, there's going to be no discrete time off for personal leave. However, vacation credits can be used for any sort of personal time. And then the remaining changes are basically all due to, again, labor law requirements, except for there's a couple other tweaks I made. For example, policy said that exceptions to the time and attendance rules may be approved at the discretion of the chair. We switched that to the board because that's actually how we operated in the past. Whenever there was an exception, we brought it to the board, and it wasn't just left to the chair. So now the policy implements how we've been acting previously. And then I eliminated, just for simplicity purposes, all sort of references to like part-time and hourly wage provisions, just because currently that's just not realistic for the way we envision the future of the authority will be staffed. And then again, the other remaining changes are purely due to labor law requirements, leave for cancer screenings, military leave, FMLA, and leave for court appearances, jury duty, crime victims leave. So it's all just the required labor law requirements.
Okay, so the bit of a challenge has been that we talked about this before. The original policy was built when we thought we were going to be looking a lot different than we really are, and so that's why we wanted to go through, and we had that original policy, but Duncan also had a contract letter, so it got a little it got a little confusing, I would say. Duncan, would you
Agreed.
agree? And so we wanted to clean that up. Talking about labor laws, I mean, I think everybody just needs to be aware that they can change from year to year. So something we need to really make sure that we pay attention to as we proceed. But we'll have a clean, simplified document. Again, I didn't want to rush it through because thinking that it is a big document and I wanted everyone to have time to review it themselves, and we can vote on it then in January. So are there any questions regarding these things? No, because anything that we would do, I mean, like if, you know, Duncan was going to take a worldwide trip or something, we would just adjust that.
Yeah, the January board meeting is scheduled like the 28th or so, at the
Yeah.
end of January, and the policy makes sense to make it effective as of January 1, 2021. So, for example, if we were to adopt it at this meeting, I was recommend that we make it effective starting
Effective
January
January
21.
1.
So it can just be retroactive
Yeah.
to January 1 once it's adopted at the end of January, and then again. We'll take a look at Duncan's situation and we can discuss with the board how we convert Duncan's current situation to the new policy at that time as well.
Okay. So that was our only agenda item on the governance committee. Any other business to come before the governance committee? Okay, then I will entertain a motion to, so moved, and a second. Thank you. Okay. Thank you. We are adjourned. Now, back to basics and our quarterly meeting for the Convention Center Authority. Call to order, and we've already done the roll call. Draft minutes of September 24th, the Audit and Finance Committee meeting. Do we need to review? Any questions? Can I have a motion to accept the Audit and Finance Committee meeting minutes?
I'll make that motion.
Thank you, Steve. That would be appropriate. And a second, please. Second, Michael. Thank you very much. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Maybe those on the screen, you can raise your hand. And okay, then the 9/24, the ACCA special meeting, the budget meeting. Any questions, any further comments? May I have a motion, please, to accept these budget meeting minutes?
Sure.
Okay, thank you. Steve, thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. Treasurer's report. Steve, you're on the screen. Ready to go?
I think I'm on.
Yeah,
I
you
see.
are.
I can see me. There's not much really to report here. Our cash position seems to be holding pretty well for now, and I do want to say that our equity position is down from last year, which is I think mostly due to depreciation. But I'll turn it over to Lynn for further explanation on all that. Thanks.
Good morning, everyone. The financials are in tab 3 of your books. I'm actually going to start with the second page of the financials, which is the statement of revenue, expenses, and changes in net position. As was noted by our treasurer, there's not a lot of things to say. We met somewhat recently. However, I did want to point out, we continue to be doing well. If you look at the toward the top there under audio visual equipment, September brought in some revenue. So as has been previously discussed, we're utilizing our wonderful building as much as absolutely possible at this point in time. And I'm sure we'll hear more later about some of the, things in the pike, so to speak. But if we look at the center, the operating revenue and income there in that top third, I just wanted to give you a little bit of comparison. When we last met for August, it was under the percent of total budget, we were at about 36% versus 33%. So we are, going to have been and going to continue to see the impact because we had the first few months were open. So, our percent to budget is continuing to be eaten into due to all of this pandemic impact. That being said, also expenses, we're doing the best, as we've discussed, to contain expenses. However, there are certain key expenses that can't not go forward. So if you look in the middle there, we continue to obviously have a considerably sizable loss over what we originally budgeted. Between having a bit of income coming in, though, the percent of budget is actually holding pretty similar to August. The other big item that we all focus on being the hotel occupancy tax, line 4100, a little bit below that midsection there. Please note that it looks quite small for September. We did receive in the most recent quarter, and it was, which I'll discuss when we get to the net position statement, but it was about, 169,000 less than what we had originally budgeted, which when I say originally budgeted, I should amend that and say our new under pandemic circumstance budget. So it was lower than anticipated from that perspective. So if you follow that line over toward the right, the percent of budget line, again, we're just under 50%, which we had talked about. We thought we were heading for last time when we saw August, it was about 56%. So receiving that most recent quarter has adjusted that much closer to, and actually slightly below 50%. But as was mentioned, we still are in an okay cash position. Fortunately, being conservative and hopefully forward thinking, we're continue to protect things. Are there any questions on the revenue expenses? If not, I'll go to the statement of net position, which is actually the first page under tab 3. And really, again, the only highlight here, we talked about cash and doing our best to protect our cash position. But if you look at line 1150, that's the occupancy tax. Again, that has now been adjusted for the most recent quarter and still includes an estimate for September. So ultimately, we're just watching and seeing how things occur with the hotel occupancy tax. And I know that we're going to hear more about that type of projection in a little bit. Any questions?
Any questions?
Len, the increase in our total cash over December 31st of last year, is that due to capitalized Albany money came in?
I'm sorry, you faded out at the beginning. I didn't hear the full question.
Our cash position as of the end of September is above the end of December. Is that due to capitalized Albany money?
Part of it is really more due to timing of things. But yes, we had received that true up in there. But a lot of it, I'm just looking, a lot of it is really more related to timing and the very beginning of the year being able to still have full open building.
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah.
Any other questions regarding the financial report? Okay,
Thank you, everyone.
thank you.
Thank you.
Our next order of business here is the economic impact report for the third quarter. Jay, I know I saw you once. Jay?
Yes, that's me. Yeah, I'm, apologies, I'm gonna share a different slide here.
There you go.
Here we go. Good morning, everyone.
Morning.
So there were, the mission statement and the reporting methodology has not changed for the economic impact analysis that we provide. There was 6 reported events at the Albany Capitol Center for the third quarter of 2020, generating roughly $58,000 in economic impact. For the third quarter, state sales tax and county sales tax just over $2,500 combined. Total visitors generated 144. You know, the comparison Q3 2019 to Q3 2020, I think kind of tells the story. 100% decline in all but the business meeting category. And I think for the foreseeable future, we're going to see, you know, the business meeting category as the main category. Obviously, our efforts were focused on convention and the success of the sporting events. And until regulations and guidelines change, business meeting / hybrid meeting will be the trend for the next quarter, at least, if not the next 3 quarters. So Q1 through Q3 for the year, year to date, total spendings $5 million, just a hair over 5 million, generating, you know, almost $500,000 in sales tax, 44 events for the year. Comparing this time last year to this time this year, again, catastrophic drops in all categories. And then we do the life of the building slide just to kind of give everybody a sense of where we are. This has not changed significantly, obviously, from the first quarter and, you know, even from last year, at the end of last year. So any particular questions on that? I do have a secondary report. We put it together similar to the last quarterly report, just kind of give the lodging landscape and kind of give a sense of where Discover Albany is marketing our efforts right now and as we're moving forward with the sales team, the Albany Capitol Center. In July, early August, Discover Albany purchased a forecast from STR. STR is the industry standard for occupancy for the world. They have markets across the globe. They do Albany County occupancy reports every month for us. We purchased this forecast and we wanted to share with you a little bit of where we're at. Here, I got to clear my screen here. So on the right, the bar chart is actual versus historic occupancy for month. April is when we saw the gully we currently are clawing our way out of. We're seeing slow progressive growth out of that. But in August, you can see the blue bar and the red bar being this year. You can see where the sun was shining, we were unable to make hay. The closing of the track certainly, and some very successful events in August of last year, just not happening this year. Obviously, we're a little disappointed on that. As far as the forecast, just for occupancy's sake, at the end of last year, total occupancy for the county was 60.2%. That's an actual percentage. Utilizing the forecast we purchased from STR, at the end of this year, we are forecasting to see a 35.9% occupancy. And at the end of next year, STR is forecasting that we will see a 49.7% forecast. I've seen, yes.
Excuse me, as part of the forecasting document that you purchased, will they adjust that when we actually get to the end of 20, and as if anything, any big changes we see on the horizon for 21, or is it one and done?
It was a one and done. I've seen somebody shared another competing forecast, and it was less optimistic. It was also 3 months later, so there was more data to draw from.
Right.
This is, the report was purchased as a budgeting tool primarily, and a benchmarking tool, so that we could say, all right, this is where we should be, because there's month by month. I think STR, they used a methodology at the bottom. It's briefly explained. They assumed all hotels were open, even those that were temporarily closed. And they went backwards to kind of adjust for the variance of having hotels closed. So if you have hotels closed and they're counting or not counting on the STR's occupancy formula. So they did some statistical work behind the scenes to kind of give us a consistent picture. I think if we're at 49.7% occupancy next year, I think we would all be happy with that. I don't know as if that's as good a number now at the end of October as it was at the end of August when we got this report. In between providing this report to the committee, it was asked that we provide an ADR picture, and my choice of colors was not all that excellent, but you can view these as the ghosts of Christmas past, the ghosts of Christmas current, and the ghosts of Christmas future. The gray column tells the story of 2019, which was what we consider a very good year for us. Our ADR for the year was $108, almost $109 for the year across all segments. The forecast for ADR at the end of this year will be $91.68, and the hopes or the forecast for 2021 will be $96.73. Current year-to-date ADR is just under $84. That was at the end of, I believe that's the end of September data that I drew from. This slide is a little newer. Everyone needs to be reminded that STR states categorically in all of their public presentations, ADR recovery is never V-shaped. So while we're seeing a nice bounce back from the end of 20 to end of 21 in their forecast, 22, 23, 24 will be incremental growth unless there's a sea change in the market, massive closures or, a cure or a vaccine. So there's some ADR challenges, and I think all of our hotels will be adjusting to the new rate structures that will be imposed by the lack of demand. Hotel closures report, not many changes on, I'm sorry.
Jay,
Yes,
Megan
I'm
has
sorry, I
a-
don't know. Can you hear me okay, Jake?
yes, I can.
Just out of curiosity, the information that's in the, I'm sorry, let me do this. This one, have you seen that for other markets? Have you looked at what that looks like, out of curiosity just out of curiosity, other places in New York State and Boston and Rhode Island? Have you seen that? How does it compare?
So we're provided regional occupancy reports through our membership through NISTA, New York State Hospitality and Tourism Association. So we see Syracuse region, Rochester, Buffalo, their declines are commensurate with our declines. We haven't purchased other destination reports. There are, each state, and I think ASM can concur with this. Other states have different rules. Sporting events never stopped in Branson, Missouri. That's a direct quote from Doug McLean. So other destinations, closures or restrictions change their ability to bounce back or to maintain. 50 people is a restrictive number, and that's not going to, without group, we're not going to recover the way we want to.
The apples to apples is really within New York State, because as Jay says, this is such, the rules are different wherever you go. So
Looking at Boston or Connecticut isn't even applicable.
Applicable. I mean, I think from a trending standpoint, it probably, but it's not, it's not comparing equal, opportunities
Okay.
to build business. I mean, Doug may be able to speak to that a little bit, and when
Yeah, and as Jay mentioned, we do a weekly regional call with ASM and with Craig List in our regional. And we have, everyone from Greenville to Branson to Columbus to Cleveland, and everybody's different. And I think a prime example is we're working on some content that we may be able to put, ASM be able to shift for business into conventions and play, in Albany in 1 month and then go to Cleveland, much like we would route a concert. And prime example is one event that we're looking at here. Our maximum attendance could be 50 people. But you take that same exact show and put it in Columbus, and they can have 300. So when you look at that, the restrictions that New York State has, we're, certainly limited on what we can do as far as, the total attendance can be. As Jay mentioned, Branson, they never shut down. They have a festival this weekend with 20,000 people going. South Bend, Indiana, they do weddings almost every day because of once they reopened, they're doing weddings in the middle of the week because they can have more than 50 people. And I think their capacity is up, to 300-400 people. So really depends on what that is. But then Syracuse their convention center is not open. So, that's, again, looking at New York, I think we have to keep it regionally, definitely.
Out of curiosity, do you have any anecdotal information about New York City?
New York? No, I don't. The only ASM facility in New York is the Barclays Center, and obviously arenas right now are closed.
okay.
So moving on from the ghosts of Christmas past and future, the hotel closures. Currently, the only hotel that we're aware of that's closed is the Spring Hill Suites. Our last conversation with the management team there was a reopening of November 1, but that was cautiously not what they think. That's just what they're telling people. So they'll be deciding week to week when they'll reopen. I think in the end, obviously we all read the newspaper. I think, there are some bright signs with, renovations and, the Indigo converting to a trilogy, and, the Desmond securing a tax abatement of some sorts to finalize their renovation budgets. I think in the end, the line at the very bottom, without large events to drive occupancy, our industry faces obviously a grim season. I don't think there's any mystery on that. I do want to kind of share with you some of our successes. Our marketing team has really done a wonderful job making sure we remain out in front in the social media world. Our website numbers, these numbers were derived for the first 7 months of this year. People are looking for things to do still. Our top page is the calendar of events, things to do. Restaurants and indoor and outdoor dining blog was our second most visited page for this time period. Obviously, coronavirus information. And those markets that people are looking are mostly local: Albany, Troy, Schenectady, Colony, but certainly New York City as our number 2 market. It provides with some optimism for us that we're getting out in front of potential clients. We instituted a live chat functionality, and since that implementation, people have logged onto our website and seen the live chat module and clicked on and conversed with a staff member during operational hours 43 times. This has really been an interesting new development. A lot of it is just needing that real-time data. I'm coming in from Georgia. What do I have to do? So we've been a nice resource for that, and I see potential growth in that particular live chat function. Just to kind of give you a sense of where we are making impressions and where people are following us. Obviously Instagram and Facebook are the leaders, and we're seeing where we can spend our money with Facebook to drive potential visitors and obviously to attract clients as we move forward. Again, blog posting has really been a focus for us because it's driven viewers and eyeballs to our website and click-throughs. We're very proud of the fact that our almost 200 blog posts are generating 70,000 plus views. That's, I think, something we're very proud of. And then finally, we have rolled out a Discover Albany app. Go to your app store now and download this free application for your smart device. We are utilizing this app in a way to leverage group business moving forward in the future. It will have 2 features to it that I think are directly related to the Capitol Center. The first feature is will be a password protected conference app option. There would be a modest fee to set that up for the client, which could then be resold off to a sponsor, and then all attendees could password into the Discover Albany private side of their particular conference app. It can have agendas, maps of the Capitol Center, where my breakout meetings are, where dine around opportunities are. And during that event, we could then send out push notifications to that group saying, hey, after the reception at the Capitol Center, here are 5 restaurants or 5 attractions that are looking to offer you special deals, the hottest things going on in Albany right now. In addition to that feature, which is, I think, a very nice amenity that we can now offer new and existing clients, we are also talking with rights holders about when a sporting event in particular registers an attendee or a competitor for their event in Albany, we've talked to several that would then promote application download for Discover Albany so that we can then target them while they're in our market. We see this as a valuable tool, and our clients see it as a way that they can ingratiate our destination to their attendees. Because once they land in Albany, they like to stay here. So we're thrilled about the app rollout. It was released on the 1st of October, and we're seeing some early adoption, but we encourage everyone to download it.
I think it puts us in a really good position for the future.
I agree.
Other questions of Jay? Thank you so much. John, did you have a question?
Nope.
Okay, your name just popped up on the screen. On to operations. We'll turn it over to Shannon and to Doug.
Okay. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Going to go through all of the goodies and information that we have today. I do have a little update since this report was done. We did actually have 2 more events contract for 2020, which is a lovely update to have.
2020?
For 2020.
Yeah. Okay. Sorry, you sound so surprised.
Oh,
Exactly.
Yes. Are actually up to 2 events, 2020. So our team's very excited. I'm sorry?
What type?
There are virtual events, one extra virtual, one that one a board meeting that's doing a webinar component with it. In addition to the 2 that are on here, the Making Strides event that we had just last weekend, and actually ACES, American Council for Engineering, they're coming in to do a virtual gala. They were supposed to have a gala in the spring, and they're going to reimagine it here. It's going to be obviously for a smaller crowd. They're bringing in just the award recipients and having a very, very nice lunch for them, and then streaming it to all the rest of their members. So it'll be the first time that sort of new floor, sort of new floor plan or new gig. But I'm very excited to say 60 events altogether. That does bring it to 89 event days altogether, 20,405 people. And then that just leaves our additional contracts at 4 because 2 of those pending had come through. So it is great that we still even have 4 contracts still out there and on the books, ready hopefully to be signed for 2020. So if we, do a year comparison this time last year, you can see the large difference. We were at 213 events altogether. By September, we almost hit our peak number. I think we ended last year with 218 events altogether. So we were much, much further ahead last year, but understandable. And that shifts me then to 2021. For 2021, we're actually up to 50 events altogether, 92 event days, 29,616 people, hopefully to walk through our lovely doors. And hotel room nights are up to 7,614. We do still have a very, very high number of pending contracts out there at 20. We have a lot of people that still sort of a little to sign at that dotted line for next year because they just want to make sure that everything is as they're imagining or what they want it to be. So that's why that continues to be on the high side. And then if we do a comparison to last year for looking a year ahead, we were about 20 events more at this point. That actually, because of the pure fact that we have so many people that are hesitant. We have a lot of people that I'm pretty confident are going to come next year, but they haven't even asked for a contract because they just want to wait and see what happens. So, the numbers make sense to me in my day-to-day conversations with clients for sure. If we go to the graph, they'll just show you a gist of where we are versus budget. And then I have, with the budget approved with the last meeting, I have updated the actual budget numbers for 2021. So you'll see those all added in of what ASM is hoping to project for the number of events for that year versus what we're tracking. I'm not sure if anyone has any questions.
Questions?
I can just add a couple things if there's no questions. You know, and as Shannon said, you know, with the first quarter last year when we prepared our 2021 budget, you know, remember we did not really budget any revenue coming in for first quarter of next year. It was very limited on some of the events that we knew were going to happen regardless, you know, if it was the smaller webinars and stuff that we had on the book. So I think, you know, our numbers for next year are on track. Also, this business that we're getting here in 2020, I think is encouraging because there is some repeat business. Some folks are using it for their second or third time since the shutdown or since we reopened. So I think that shows that we're able to instill the confidence, you know, into the client that they're willing to come back and use us. So I think that was it's a good positive sign too. I wanted to give an update on the NCAAs. As you all know, they were awarded in October. Now this facility did not get any championships specific to the facility, but the Times Union Center was very successful getting men's basketball back, getting women's basketball back, which that tournament has expanded. And then we also have hockey. So it's great that that's there, and this building has the opportunity, you know, to serve as the ancillary facility with those events. I did reach out to the NCAA asking for some critique on why we did not get anything awarded here. Whereas I was a little disappointed. I thought maybe a volleyball or the fencing would have came. Feedback was they loved the building. For fencing, this building is very tight. It's a little bit small for their footprint, so they have a little bit of concern. Volleyball, they liked that there was a lot of competition, and mainly, and one thing that I didn't take into consideration was, you know, much similar to the way the Times Junior Center was awarded the men's basketball in 2023 as a make good for 2020. You know, that happened pretty much across the board in all the sports. So there was really only 2 years of championships that were awarded as opposed to the original 3. I think if we had the 3, we would have saw an event pop in here. One thing I think that'll help our cause in the next, and we were encouraged to bid again in the next cycle, is we just got an email yesterday asking for a contract from the MAC, Metro Atlantic Conference, and they're going to do their volleyball championships here at this facility on Easter weekend. They're going to use the Renaissance next year for hotel rooms, make a bubble, and, you know, it's a great weekend, it's, you know, for the hotels and for the Renaissance. So being able to host a college championship here, I think will help us for the NCAAs. So we're really excited that we were able to get that. They're planning to do it without fans regardless. So that's a little bit more comfort on our end, knowing that most likely will be happening because we do have a bubble in place. So, you know, we don't have to mitigate, you know, fans, and we're controlling the athletes. We feel a little more comfortable with that. Also, another set of positive news, we got asked for contracts for AAU volleyball for the end of May. And they're looking to do 40 courts, and we brought in Aframs, who with his new facilities, his facility on Shaker Road, he's really looking at making it more multi-purpose instead of just soccer. He's looking at putting basketball courts up there and also volleyball courts. So we're going to use his facility, maybe 2, this facility, Sienna possibly, but we have 40 courts in the area. Also the new facility in Mount Hope, the old racket club. They have 12 volleyball courts up there that they're putting in. So I think, you know, as Jay mentioned in his report, that youth sports, I think, is going to be a key driver in getting some hotel rooms before we can get those conventions and larger conferences in.
And the MAC business, they're going to allow all the teams to stay in the one hotel?
One hotel. It's 10 teams they have for volleyball. And it goes, you know, starts at 10 and then 6, 8. So it's a couple, I forgot the hotel rooms, but it's 10. Jay, do you remember?
228 guest rooms. 228.
So, that's a good, you know, piece.
Any questions or comments for our ASM partners? Okay, Bob, do you have anything more legal reports? You took care of it during governance, reporting out that we will review and take a vote on the personnel manual at our January meeting. Okay. Other business, other discussions. Then I will take a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Thank you all very much,
All right,
and
thank you.
thank you for joining us.
Stay safe,
And,
all.
thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.